Hello and welcome today. We are going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. There's a few more people that are in the waiting room letting in right now, and then we'll jump right into the presentation. So hope everybody's doing okay. I first want to just make sure you guys can hear and see me okay. Obviously, if you can't hear me, you probably won't hear this, but if you can give me a 1, if you can see me and hear me okay, that'd be great. Make sure it's not garbled. Excellent. Just put that in the chat. Perfect. All right, looks like that's everybody in from the waiting room. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by sharing my screen here. All right, so today's presentation is going to be on how to transform missed calls into conversation and new clients, and by unlocking sales opportunities with a really cool tool that we have called SMS Re-Engage. For starters, though, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kurt. I'm the founder and CEO of Engage Digital. We've been in business for about 8.5 years now, coming up on 9 this summer. And we are what I refer to as a growth marketing systems provider. We offer typical marketing strategies such as local SEO, paid advertising, web design, content, reputation management, things like that. But we do things a little differently. We build systems and we integrate these marketing strategies with our systems we build to really improve the ROI by making things more efficient for our clients, as well as giving them the ability to scale without having to hire more staff. So these systems utilize a lot of automation and in some cases AI to really help our business or our clients scale the business. So we're going to talk a little bit about the power of SMS communications because it's been growing pretty rapidly since its inception. But these stats kind of say a lot for what's going on with SMS marketing. And I will use the term SMS and text message marketing pretty frequently throughout. I'm just referring to the same thing. But 97% of US adults own a mobile phone and 85% of those are smartphones. So not only can people just receive text messages, but most people in the US, most adults, are able to receive videos and emojis and all sorts of other things you can put in the text messages, as well as links. 95% of text messages are read and responded to within 3 minutes. That is a staggering stat there. SMS campaigns average open rate is about 98%. That's 5 times that of email. And I'm not bashing email because we use email a lot. Our clients use it, we promote it. But SMS campaigns, along with their open rate, are receiving a better response rate. It's actually 8 times that of email. SMS marketing generates up to 45% response rates or higher response rates than other digital channels. Those channels would include things like social media and advertising. SMS messages have over 36% click-through rate and a 25% conversion rate. And this last one is really important to remember that 61% of consumers state that they want the ability to communicate with the business via text messaging. So if you're not already using some form of text messaging, you should be. So let's kind of talk about the consumer and their whole process when they're looking for business, the search process. Typically, they're going to sign in to the computer, they're going to look at Google, and they're going to do a search for something like med spa near me or a specific service. And Google is going to provide them with a list of businesses. This we see here on the screen right here is what's referred to as the local pack. So when you're looking for something local, Google's going to return search results like this. It's actually above the organic search results. It provides a lot of really good information for the consumer, such as the average reviews, the number of reviews, the phone number. Oftentimes they will show the actual review here. So it gives you a good idea of what people are saying about this business. And then they give you the top 3 that they find the best match, but then they also allow you to click this button and show more business listings with the same information. So they are providing a list for the consumer. 60% of these consumers who do this search, they call the local business after finding them online. The problem is 62% plus of these calls to small businesses go unanswered. And to make things worse, 85% of the people whose calls aren't answered, they're not going to call back. Google's already given them this list. They're just going to go to the next business in the list. So each one of these missed calls is an opportunity for businesses to get more sales, more engagement, as well as improve their company's overall reputation. And I'll get to that in a little bit. So what are these missed calls costing your business? Well, for one, as I just point out, sales. Missed calls or missed revenue, missed sales opportunities. Also, your reputation and how people perceive your customer service. If you're missing calls and it goes to voicemail, or maybe you just don't call them back at all, it doesn't look too good for your business in the consumer's eye. People want a quick response. They expect it. And it's just a society we live in these days. So we put together this cool little calculator. If you want to take a screenshot of this, I have the link later on as well. But you can go to goengagedigitals.com and then SMS-Re calculator and plug in a few numbers such as the average lifetime value of your clients, and how many calls you think you're missing every month, and then what your close rate is. For most people, it's 60, 65% on average for the beauty industry. So yeah, punch those in if you want, and you'll get a really good idea of how much money you're leaving on the table every month. So what are some ways that you can address missed calls? Well, for one, you can hire more staff. The only downside to this, well, not the only downside, the biggest downside is it increases your operational costs. And it's not going to guarantee that these calls are going to be captured. This is really going to affect your bottom line and your margins. You could also rely on good old voicemail, but then you're faced with that delayed response factor. As I pointed out a couple slides ago, people want a response like immediately. It's that instant gratification that our society craves these days. You could also do some deep dive analysis and look at the peak call times and then adjust your staffing based on the call volume trends. The only problem with this is this works maybe for larger companies, and especially if you had data going back 7, 8, maybe 10 years. But for small businesses, as they grow, these numbers are going to change constantly. So it's really hard to adjust for peak call times. So the number one way to address missed calls that we found out is to automate responses. You can use a system like I'm going to get into here called the SMS Re-Engage to instantly respond to people when they call and they don't get through to you. So let's talk a little bit about that. It's part of an overall marketing system that we sell called the E360. And it's a very innovative tool. And it's, like I said, it's able to turn missed calls and engage conversations by automating text responses. It connects to whatever number you're using. So if you're using your cell phone for your business, or maybe Google Voice or something like that, it will connect to that. So the calls will go through still. But when people don't or aren't able to get through to you, you're not able to pick up the phone, it can trigger workflows. And these workflows and triggers can also connect with additional communications in the E360 system. So some of the key benefits of the SMS Re-Engage, well, for one, increased engagement. You're going to capture missed opportunities with text conversations. You'll also be able to customize your communications. You can tailor responses to enhance customer interaction as well as customer service. You can send multiple messages. We even have an AI bot. That's another option that's trainable, and it will do things that you normally would do, such as qualify the potential client or drive them to schedule an appointment online. There's also multi-channel connectivity. You can integrate with major platforms for a really comprehensive communication system. This includes Google Messaging, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Snapchat, and good old email. There's also that immediate acknowledgement. These automated texts, they reduce wait times by responding immediately, and that improves the consumer satisfaction. So the big one is boosting sales. And with a tool like this, you never have to miss out on a sales opportunity just because you're too busy working or don't have enough staff to get to the call. So how does it all work? Well, for one, we provide you with a local, what we refer to as a smart number. This is an SMS capable number. And then we have to go through this process to verify the number. There's a new regulation that's out, regulations that are called A2P 10DLC, and they were put in place and adopted by the major carriers to cut down on spam from SMS marketing. So there's a compliance that you have to submit some paperwork for and become compliant and verified. And we take care of all that for you. And then we also work with you to create custom messaging, because the voice really needs to be your own on this. And along with your own voice, we have to really focus on your goals. If you really want to just drive people to schedule appointments, then that's something we could set up. This is where it starts looking a little crazy here, but this is on the back end, and luckily this is stuff that you guys will never have to touch. So I couldn't even get it all on the screen here, but up above here is a trigger, and the trigger, basically what that is when someone calls and you don't pick up, and or if it goes to voicemail, that's going to trigger this workflow. And the workflow has a number of different steps. These are all fully customizable. We do that for every single client because everyone has different needs. But it's going to check, first of all, and it's going to see if they're in the system already. If they are, the messages we send out, we can personalize with their first name and some other information. It's also going to check the time of the day of the week. You can have different messages, as you can see down here, different messages depending on when these people are calling. And another important thing that the tool will do is it will reach out to you or one of your staff, whoever you want to reach out to. It can do this via email, or it can do it via a text message and send you a notification about the missed call. And this could also include their phone number. Like I said, if they're in the system already, you'll have their first name, but we can customize these messages to you as well. At that point, when someone calls and you get this notification, you can either step into the conversation right there, or you can let the tool communicate. Trigger words, as I mentioned, can be added to not only start the workflow, but also continue the workflow in different branches. And as I pointed out earlier, we have a conversation AI tool. It's another option. And a lot of people are utilizing this now to drive people to appointments. So we could connect that as well. And at that point, you're pretty much hands off when someone calls, unless they have a specific question. And the AI tool can actually be trained to answer questions that are common from your clients. Some additional features include, as I pointed out earlier, the multi-platform messaging. So there's two-way messaging with the tool, with Google Messaging, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, the direct messages, Snapchat, as well as email. These workflows can be fully customized, as I pointed out, and we can build multiple workflows for you. There's also some SMS templates. As I said, you'll never have to go work on the workflows. We're going to set up some templates for the messaging. So if you want to go in and tweak that every now and then, it's really easy to do, and we'll show you how to do that. And there's also a CRM, a customer relationship manager, built into the E360 system, which is connected to the SMS Re-Engage tool. And this really helps you track interactions and conversations with your leads. So one thing I always ask people to do is just give it a try. You can dial this number that we set up a little demo account. You can dial 541-803-2900. Just let it ring a couple of times and hang up, and you'll receive a message, and you'll get another message. And then they'll ask for a response as well. Go ahead and copy this number if you want real quickly, or take a screenshot and give it a try. So that's pretty much the gist of the SMS Re-Engage system. It's a tool we put together with the help of our E360 system to really capture more leads and reduce the chance that you're going to miss calls just because you're busy working. But I've made this presentation pretty quick. I always like to open it up for questions at the end. And I see we have a few questions coming in the chat here. So I'm going to go through these real quickly. I'm also going to go after this into some bonuses that we have today for anyone who's made it through this short presentation. But if you have any other questions while I'm going through that, just type them in the chat. I'll get to them at the very end. So Cindy asks, can I also use the tool to send out text messages directly to clients with special offers? And the answer is yes. So this is a full-blown SMS marketing platform and tool. And if you want to create campaigns for special offers and stuff like that, you're more than willing to do that. So next question is from Laura. Hey, Laura. What happens if the person calling isn't calling from a mobile phone? This is a great question. It always comes up in our presentations about this. It's pretty simple. The same thing is happening right now. If you have a voicemail setup, it's going to go to voicemail or your cell phone or whatever. So nothing really changes. The tool will actually attempt to respond or to reach out to that person, and then it will just flag that number as a non-SMS capable number, so it won't reach out to them via text message again. So Stephen asks, what is the cost per text message sent? Great question. So we actually provide you guys with 1,200 message credits per month, and that every month it renews. That's enough for most businesses, I would say, unless you're using this pretty heavily. And you just have a ton of miss. Besides that, it's $0.0083. So I'm not good with fractions and stuff, but decimals, that is 0.08 cents per message. I did write down, here, let me just calculate this. So yeah, so for example, if you had 5,000 messages on top of the 1,200 that we already gave you, so you've already used those up, at that price, it's going to cost you around $41 for 5,000 messages. So you can kind of compare that if you're using another text messaging tool for your marketing campaigns, kind of compare the cost on that. I think it's probably pretty comparable, if not better. Stacy, next question. Stacy said or asked, do we need to log into the tool to respond to people's text messages? The answer is no. So if you have it set up with your Google Voice or a cell phone or something like that, you can just respond right from there because it's going to connect to that, whatever that source is. You could log in if you want. There's also a free mobile app for both Android and iPhones, and you can respond right from there if you want. That's got some CRM functions in it. And also if you start working with us on some of the other features and functions of the E360 system, there's some features in there you can utilize as well that are related to sales, such as funnels and stuff. So that looks like about all the questions we have for now. So I'm going to get into the specials. Like I said, if there are any other questions that come up, please just type them in the chat. I'll get to them at the end, okay? So what do we have for you guys today? So in addition to the SMS Re-Engage, if you sign up for that today, we're going to throw in a free website chat widget system. It's a little different than most chat widget systems. There is a capability to turn it on to where it's live chat. I actually don't recommend that unless you have somebody who can man it 24/7. Or if you're using the AI tool, because AI tool, you can train it to detect what time of the day it is and have different responses according to then. But this chat widget system is sort of like a contact us form. It's going to ask them for their name, their mobile phone number, and then a message. And that can tie into those automations and the workflows, as I mentioned, so you can have specific responses to that message whenever they fill out the form. It's really replaces the contact us form, which pretty much nobody uses anymore. I think it's a much better option than that. And it's like I said, people like to communicate with businesses via text messaging, so this gives them the option to. Another really cool thing we can do is put a button on your site that says text us, or a number that says text or call. And all they have to do is click that, kind of like those click to call buttons. And then if they're on their mobile phone, they'll be able to text right from there. So that we're throwing in for free. So you'll have not only the text back system, but you'll also have the ability to collect inquiries from your website via this chat widget system. We're also throwing in a free reviews management tool. So we normally charge $197 for this and usually around $250 to set it up. This allows you to customize your review request messages. It works with either SMS or email, and we can schedule multiple messages to go out. Typically, we do 3 on this. So we have the initial messages, a request a review, and then we have a couple of follow-up messages. It's a smart system, so if someone clicks on one of the links there, it's going to take them out of the automation so they won't be pestered if they've already left a review. And you also get to choose sites you want to request reviews from. So what we do on this as well is we're going to set up this whole workflow for you on the back end, kind of like the one I showed you before, but it's going to wait a certain amount of time and then send like the first message, the second message, and the third message, requesting reviews. It's fully customizable, just like everything else in the tool, but we're going to throw this in for free, which is normally $170 or $97 a month we charge for that. So the last thing I want to offer you guys is a reduced setup fee. Typically, we charge $500 to $750 to set up the SMS Re-Engage tool. One of the reasons there's just a lot of customization needs to be done. And as you saw, I just showed you a little snippet of the screenshot for the workflow. It gets pretty complicated. But we're going to cut that setup fee down to $197 just to make it a little easier to get in for a lot of people. And basically what we are offering today is the full SMS Re-Engage system at $197 a month and $197 setup fee. You're going to get the free chat website widget. You're also going to get the free reviews management system and that reduced setup fee. And if you want to go to this link, once again, if you take a screenshot of this, you can just go to this link, which is engagedigital.com, go.engagedigital.com, SMS-re-engage-offer. And you'll have some more information there. There's actually, if you didn't get the number before, there's a button there you can click and test the tool out. We have a little demo set up, and there's an order form at the bottom. There's also a button if you want to hop on a call and get a little more information. We can schedule a little discovery call, a 15-minute call, and go over any of the questions you may have. So if you're ready to get started, go to that link. Also have a QR code that will take you to that page. You can email us at info@engagedigital.com. You can either call or text us at 541-803-2500. We are located on the West Coast in Oregon, so keep that in mind for calling. And you can get more information about our business at engagedigital.com. But I want to thank everyone for their time today. I hope you take advantage of this offer we have, and I really hope to be talking to you soon about getting you set up with our SMS Re-Engage system. Thanks again. Take care.